Welcome, Legions friends. This is Toolbox Julian, and today we have a very exciting update for you. This is probably one of the most anticipated features on the platform, and that is deck building. If you are on the Discord channel, you know that this has been in the like in the process of being developed for a while. If you if you also listen to the podcast where where we talked about this, you know that this was coming. Now it is finally here. Just a little disclaimer: this is in beta right now, so it may not work 100%. And if you find any issues with it, please let me know. But let's just get right into it, and let's just get right into how you can start building decks right here on the toolbox. So basically, what you will see is if you go to legionstoolbox.com, you will see that other than collection and wish list, you also have my decks now. So if you try to access that, it's going to ask you to log in because this feature is only available to logged in users. So once you log in, it'll take you to my collection by default. Now you can go to my decks. And if you don't have any decks yet, um, you will be faced with this screen prompting you to create a new deck. Um, this feature took a long time to develop because it works so differently from the rest of the toolbox, and you're about to see why. When I click on create a new deck, I will be immediately prompted with adding a name for my deck, and this is internal. When other people look at your deck, when you share your deck with other people, they won't be able to see the name of the deck. So this is basically just for your records. And what you're presented with, let's call this undead test deck. And you're prompted with a selection of a warlord. We are going to go with Malady just because I like her. So when you click on that, the create deck button down here gets activated. And once you click on create deck, you will uh, be immediately taken to the edit deck screen. Um, Here you have the cards that are already on the deck, and um, you have a count of cards for each type of cards. For Warlord, Synergy, Veil, Remnant, Guardian, all obviously they don't count for the total count on the deck. And you also have a count and a section for each type of card. So this is a brand new deck. No cards have been added. So let's go ahead and add some cards to it. We can click over here. This will present us with a list of cards that we can add, and this is already pre-filtered. It will only let us add cards from our Legion and bounty cards. This is a good time to mention that at this point in time, this is pretty much all the legality that this new feature enforces. It does not currently enforce card limits, so how many of each card you can have. It does not enforce pretty much any other legality parameters. That is coming. That is actually the next thing that I'm planning on adding, because I want this to be compliant and I want this to like only generate legal decks in preparation for the ability to export your deck. So for now, as this feature is now in beta, you are pretty much able to add anything to your deck as long as it matches your Legion or bounties. So keep that in mind. This is not going to limit you to building legal decks. Right now, the options that we have for filtering, we can always close this card list and open it back up. And we can search here, for example, to limit the cards that we want to show. Um, but let's start adding some cards to our deck. let's add two of these. There's going to be styling changes. I know that this styling is definitely not ideal. So some of this, like this button, is definitely going to change. This kind of went up in a rush because I know people want this feature very badly, and it's a long weekend right now when this is being shot, so people actually have time to dedicate to their hobby. So I wanted to put this out so that people can start using it, and the details will be polished later. But as of now, if you're watching this video, you can use this. So you add cards to your deck, and as you do that, your deck list is updated. So here you have your unified cards, you have your fortified cards, you have your warriors, you have your tokens, and this deck list updates automatically. So if you now go back to my decks, you will be looking at the deck that you have, and you can go ahead and create a new one. Or you can go in here and start editing your deck and add more cards if you want. Um, right now, one thing that is important to mention as of the recording of this video, it is still not possible to see another player's deck. So even if you share your deck URL with somebody else, they will not be able to see the cards in that deck. That is also an update that is coming, but this will, as of right now, enable you to start building decks. It will not be rolled back, so anything that you build, you can rest assured that it's going to stay built. So have fun. I can't wait to see everybody's decks once the ability to share them becomes available, which should be very, very soon. It might even be this very weekend. Um, so stay tuned for more updates. Looking forward to seeing what you do with these new abilities. And as always, see you soon. If you want to find me on the official LRAW Discord channel, you can do that. You can tag me with Toolbox Julian, and if you have any questions, you can always use the contact form on the website to send me an email. Thank you very much. Stay tuned.